A posthumous memoir out this week tells of the life and legacy of actor Michael K. Williams, who died of a drug overdose last fall. Now, Williams is known for his powerful performances on screen, but the memoir also reveals his struggles and the impact he made through social justice and community activism. Jeffrey Brown explores the roles and the man as part of our arts and culture series, Canvas.
The whistle, the walk, the way of being Omar Little, a stick-up man and killer, but one who only takes on drug dealers, and a gay man in a violent and homophobic world. He was an indelible character on one of the most highly regarded series in television history, The Wire. The actor who brought Omar to life, Michael K. Williams.
He played these powerful figures who were pioneering characters in terms of the portraits of Black men that we've seen on television.
Eric Deggans is the television critic for NPR.
Michael was constantly sort of reinventing our vision of what Black maleness could be, of what Black masculinity could be.
Other actors also saw an unusual talent. Wire co-star Wendell Pierce.
What we are actually getting to witness in his young career, we're going to see a lot more, is like one of the great American actors, giving voice and giving flesh to characters that most people would have never given the same humanity to.
Chalky White, a Prohibition-era gangster in Boardwalk Empire. Freddie Knight, a convict who rules the prison in The Night Of. Montrose Freeman, a mysterious, traumatized man who's lived through the Tulsa Massacre in Lovecraft Country. Williams was a powerful presence in high-profile series for HBO. Now the man behind the characters comes to life in a posthumous memoir, Scenes from My Life, co-written with John Sternfeld, who completed the work after Williams' death.
And this building was where I lived all my life, from conception up until season 2 of The Wire.
Williams, seen here in a video from March 2021, grew up in the East Flatbush neighborhood of Brooklyn, in a huge housing project then called Vanderveer Estates. In the book, he described a vibrant but violent world amid the crack cocaine era of the 1980s and 90s. A loving but strict mother, an absent father, his own crippling insecurities, what he called his softness in a hard environment, and his turn to drugs. He got the scar running down his face that would in some ways define his on-camera image after being slashed with a razor in a fight. The arts became a way out, first as a dancer, then actor.
It was interconnected, his personal experiences through his professional experiences, through work and through some of his characters.
Dominic DuPont, Williams' nephew and friend, also grew up in Vanderveer.
A lot of Michael's personal experiences breathed life into his characters. But what he was to me, I believe he was to most of the people who knew him in the world. He was an amazingly talented human being who cared about people, who understood what it was to suffer and how to help people heal from suffering.
What DuPont and others want the world to know of Williams, especially in the last years of his life, was his commitment to social justice and community work, a legacy as important as his acting.
I ain't no angel. I made some bad choices, but God lifted me up. So the way I show God that I appreciate my second chance in life is by coming home and making sure that I show my youth what I did wrong.
The greatest gift that Michael was able to give to people a lot of the time was making them feel like they mattered, because he was going to the places that other people don't go.
Dana Racklin is a Brooklyn-based activist who, with Williams, co-founded We Build the Block, an organization aimed at increasing public safety through community-led initiatives. Williams, she says, was eager to reach young people and help change lives.
When we talk about like mentorship or looking for positive role models or looking for love, I mean, that's what made Michael so special. He understood that he had to share pieces of himself to make other people feel whole.
The focus on social justice also showed up in his work on camera, in dramas such as When We Rise, about the gay rights movement, and as a father to one of the exonerated Central Park Five in When They See Us.
I was that kid that, the neighbors thought wasn't gonna make it.
Also in a series of documentaries he made, Raised in the System, in which Williams took viewers into juvenile detention centers and prisons.
The strong survive off the weak.
And Black Market, a visceral look into the world of crime and illegal markets. In the memoir, Williams wrote candidly of his own continuing struggles with addiction, also of the dark places his roles often took him, and the difficulties he had returning from them. NPR's Eric Diggins.
The fact that he would take on those roles anyway, knowing the danger to his sobriety, sort of spoke to the mission that he felt as a performer, to bring these men to life, even though it was at great risk to his own sobriety and health. I thought that was sort of the tragic dilemma of his life.
On September 6, 2021, Michael K. Williams was found dead of an overdose of fentanyl-laced heroin. He was 54. 4 men were charged for distributing the drugs that led to his overdose.
In a few weeks, it'll be a year already. I feel like it was just yesterday. What I understand is what Michael would want us to understand, that there's a lot more work to do, and that if we can use this situation as an opportunity to make people more aware about substance abuse and addiction and how do we help people, then we have gained something. We have made progress.
I have a lot of rage when it comes to Michael's death and a lot of sadness. I hope that what comes out of this is Michael's legacy, and that is a legacy of love and healing and a mirror that's put up to all of us. That we're not just telling the stories like Michael told in The Wire or The Night Of or When They See Us, but we're actually doing things to change that.
In addition to Scenes from My Life, a final on-camera role comes this month with the release of the film Breaking. While Dana Racklin continues the work she and Williams began with We Build the Block and other programs across the city. For the PBS NewsHour, I'm Jeffrey Brown in Brooklyn.
And what a legacy he leaves behind.